ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Friday Night Debate on Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jar, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. In tonight's edition of Friday Night Debate, we're going to be debating very key and exciting subject matter, starting with Will Boakai, that is Joseph Newman Boakai and Jeremiah Koung, declare and publish their assets before noon, Monday, January 22. That's the day they take office. Will that happen? We will be discussing that and more, and let me welcome all of our panelists tonight, but let's start with my co-host, Mr. Ansony Sieh. Mr. Sieh, welcome.
Then it's good to be here. It's Friday night debate. Let us debate the issues as serious as they are. I don't know about Glendy.
And I want to welcome all of you, starting with the unabashed and unapologetic sedition, Mr. Jerome Gilman. Mr. Gilman, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with all these great folks. If it's Friday night, it's right here.
Let's welcome from G Talk, Glendy. Glendy, welcome to Friday Night Debate.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Dennis. It's good to be here.
Let me also welcome Mr. Jimmy Eastman, the man from the nation's capital. Welcome, Jimmy.
Someone needs to mute.
Here. Very good to be here. I'm looking forward to some interesting discussions with my fine panelists here. So let's let the show begin.
Mr. Michael Patmo. Mr. Patmo, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's always great to be on here. I think this is my second time. So I'm looking forward to a spirited debate.
On Friday Night Debate. Let me welcome Alice Wilson Momba. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dennis. It's a pleasure being here as always. Ready and set to go.
Let me also welcome Mr. Aliu Samba Kamara. Welcome, Aliu.
Thank you. Dennis, this show wouldn't have been great if Glendy wasn't on here tonight, but I'm glad you thought wise to bring Glendy on. And Alice, don't get jealous. I do see your ring on your finger.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Aliu, stop it. Let me welcome
I
Mr.
Mary.
Mr. Nagbe, welcome to the show. It's Friday Night Debate.
Thank you, Mr. Ja. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here.
Last and definitely not the least is Father Elijah B. Washington. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me, Dan. It's an honor and always a honor to be on your platform to share our thoughts and our education with our people out there. Before we start, I'd like to today being the last day of some of our people will be working in government. We want to say thank you for the service to our country.
Thank you. And talking about service to the country, our first item here is, will JNB and JKK declare and publish their assets before noon on January 22? This is in accordance to the law, which says every public official and employee of government involved in making decisions affecting contracting, tendering, or procurement and issuance of licenses of various types shall sign performance or financial bonds and shall in addition declare his or her income, assets, and liability prior to taking office and thereafter. This also provides that at the end of every 3 years, on progression from one level to another, upon transfer to another public office, and upon retirement or resignation, they have to declare their assets. And that's the law. So we are expecting, we expected that JNB and JKK, that is Joseph Newman Boakai and Jeremiah Koung, declare their assets. But don't take it from me. Mr. Boakai himself said it. So let's take a listen.
We start by making sure those people that we bring to cabinet
Oops. All right. Sorry about that.
people of integrity. And secondly, want to make sure that even beginning with myself, we'll declare our assets and want to make sure that this is well known.
So that was JMB's declaring that he will declare his assets, and it's going to start with me. Start with him is going to be the example. Now, the law says declare your assets before taking office. Mr. Boakai and Mr. Koung, they take office on Monday. Let me start with Aliyu Kamara. Aliyu,
Yeah.
Mr. Boakai, tell us the truth, or this is the first promise broken.
But if you read the law correctly, remember the part you're not really paying attention to is where it says and thereafter. You should pay attention to that part. Would they?
No, hold on. It says you will declare your assets before taking office.
And
you are moving from one job to the other, you declare your asset. When you get fired, you declare your asset.
Yeah, but listen. Let's not talk about your opinion. I knew you're not giving it. Let's not talk about your opinion. Let's talk about the line that you read. Don't cut it in half. Okay? They say and thereafter. Put that portion there. What does and thereafter mean? But let me answer your question here and be a little more direct. Will they declare their asset openly before Monday? I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. I would have wished they would, but knowing the gravity of what they're currently undergoing since October, their schedule and other stuff like that, I knew it was not going to be possible, at least for some of them. But Joseph Boakai will declare his asset, and the law doesn't say it must be done before. It can be done thereafter, as long as it's done within the time, the scheduled time. So yes, they will declare, but not before. I don't think they will do it before Monday.
Victor, has JMB broken the law? Mr. Nagbe?
No, Dennis. I think he still has a few hours left on the clock. The point that Mr. Kamara is making, I expected that argument also, but it clearly says before and thereafter, not necessarily before or thereafter. So I think what that is saying is they're required to do so and then continue to do so while they serve. I think that Ambassador Boakai he prides himself on integrity, on doing what he says. So I am going to assume that before noon on the 22nd, he will declare his asset, whether he's going to do it publicly or privately. But I expect he will do so. So I like to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Father Washington.
Yeah, the law also indicates that it also talks about a specific interval. So, like everyone else, like Kamara and Nagbe say, so that interval, because when I listen to people from LCC Day, when they were talking about the people in the house, those who were leaving, declaring the assets, they were saying they give a specific time. They said by the 22nd of December, they should be able to declare the assets. And then when they're talking about incoming, they said they would give them a specific time, that period where they can be able to declare the assets. So I just think that probably when the new incoming government come, especially for Joseph Boakai and the vice president, when they come in, I think they will give a specific interval of time where they can be able to declare the assets. So I think they would do it as well. So for me, that wouldn't be an issue.
The law says declare your asset before taking office.
I don't think that's what it says. That's what it says. I think it says it gives you specific period of time you can declare your assets. You can do it before, but I'm not sure if you don't do it before you declare assets, I'm not breaking any law. No.
Mr. Padmo.
Oh, man, start looking at the frustration on my face and be calling my name. Look, the law is very clear. It's as clear as D. It says prior. That's what it says, prior. That means before. Okay? And when you've done it before, you have to continuously do it. That's the end thereafter. It's very simple. I think it will be a mistake for President-elect Boakai not only declare his asset, but publish it. Look, in order for us to bring change to Liberia, it has to be radical. it means that you have to go even beyond what the law says. You have to set that standard. President-elect Boakai has told us he's not a man of great means. You know, he get a lay horse that he has since 19 and a lay farm. How long it take to declare that one? It doesn't take anything. It's not complicated. The man get plenty of money. That's what he told us. That's what was presented to us. So if you get plenty of money, you get plenty of assets, the small one you get, just put it outside. When Senator Dillon declared asset about $3.75, he showed a bank record. He said, "I'm a bank record, I'm an asset. They want in my little in Banave that I get." Case closed. You know, but I think it would be. People are already questioning this incoming government. People are already mounting concerns. You know, people are already talking about accountability. You know, they say they're spending $650,000. Nobody knows what they're spending it on. They are not communicating with the public, you know, and stuff. So people are already getting anxious. If Joseph Boakai doesn't seize this opportunity to put his foot down and say, look, I will start on the right foot, that means that between now and Monday, before 12, I will declare my assets and even publish it. You know, people won't take him seriously. And it's not just the public. It's the government officials that he will appoint. That is the issue. If people don't take you seriously and they see you are just trying to dodge your way around things, they will do the same thing. And then we'll have a whole lot of government officials giving excuses why they can't and delaying the process. But if he comes out and put his foot down and say, everybody who I appoint, I expect you to do the same, we will see a change coming in Liberia.
Go sit down.
Oh. Just start giving Alice out time. Let me go to Glendy while Alice gets some things settled. Glendy, this is not optional. And President-elect Boakai said you will set examples, right? You will lead by examples. This is do you feel disappointed that he did not declare his assets prior to noon? Because asset declaration and publication, that's a process. You have to fill out forms and do X, Y, Z. So definitely this might not happen before noon on Monday. Are you disappointed?
So I am not disappointed. I am very optimistic that he will follow what the law says, that he will declare his assets.
Prior to taking office.
I am saying I am optimistic that it will be done on Monday. It will not just be only he and Koung that will do it. Dillon and Nyonblee will also declare the assets before Monday at 12 o'clock. If they don't, then I can now start discussing on how I feel. But I'm optimistic that that President-elect Boakai will declare his assets on Monday.
It's a process, not just a speech.
But we don't know. We're just here and we're making assumptions that they're not working through the process. Okay. Do you know what they've done? We don't know. Okay. So they would have already done that. And I don't want to be a pessimist because I know that VP Boakai is a man who has given his word, who has said he will declare his assets. He knows the law says before he goes into office. I am telling you again, and let me repeat, he, Koung, Dillon, and Nyonblee, before 12 o'clock on Monday, they will declare their assets. If they don't, then I will be disappointed if they don't. But I'm holding them accountable to do that.
Thank you.
Glendy, if I may, you're mentioning Dillon and Nyonblee. I think they have started work already.
Well, they've started work, but you should also remember that their clause is different from that of the president. And
that's because you said before, the law said before, you agree that the law said before. They have already started.
I get that, but you also have to understand that they're also continuing. Why it may be that they've already started.
So the law excuses them? Because
I'm not saying that the law does not accuse them. The reason why I've decided to mention them is because Dillon specifically expressed this on Wednesday and said that he and Nyonblee before Monday will declare their assets.
Mr.
So I don't hold them accountable.
Mr. Gilman, the question I want to ask you concerning the same subject is, will Boakai and Koung have any history of declaring assets, and not only that, and publishing their asset for the Liberian people to see. You heard Mr. Boakai there in the VOA interview said it will be done. Do they have the history of declaring an asset and making it public? Do you know that?
Joseph Boakai is a fraud. We all know that. Mr. Koung is a fraud. We all know that.
Mr. Gamer, you got to watch your language.
Listen, do you want me to speak here or you want me to?
Talk.
Yeah, because if you call somebody a fraud,
is somebody who misrepresents the facts.
No, we know the man.
Excuse me, sir. I got the floor.
Talk.
Joseph Boakai told us here that he was so poor that he was living off small loans. Not only that, but his spokesman says that he was getting 3,000 allowances every month just to survive. Recently, you saw him in Total, where he get 10 million Liberian dollars on behalf of he and his wife. And the question is, for the man who was barely surviving from hand to mouth, where did he get 10 million Liberian dollars from to give and say, it is my initial plus 200 bags of rice? If that's somebody who says on national TV, I am coming with integrity, and everybody who wants to work with me have to have that kind of integrity. That's why he said on the video you just showed. So we are talking about in politics what we call double speak. This is not anything that we are accusing. You just played the tape. We just heard his own speech when he went to Total. He said, I'm giving 10 million Liberian dollars as an initial contribution plus 200 bags of rice. The question is, where did he get $10 million from for the man who was just barely surviving on loan and largesse from Spoon and Costa? So if that's somebody that you want me to take seriously, this is a man doing his campaign. He said, President Weah did not publish, even though he met the requirement. He said he filed. He said not only should he file, but he should have it published as an issue of integrity. And here we are here, someone saying today that, well, the law, he trying to split hair, that the law said thereafter. The thereafter refers to someone like Dylan, who actually declared his asset from the beginning. Now that he has been added to another level, he now have to go above that and do a second amendment, which is fine. So Boakai, from what he's telling us here, it is strictly not true. He can't be trusted. I told you this from the beginning, that this man was never genuine from the beginning, and I don't expect anything better.
Thank you. Alex?
She's muted.
Alice, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Alice.
Uh-oh. All right. While Alice wait, let's get to Mr. Jimmy Ismail.
Excuse me, I'm back.
Thank you. Thank you.
President-elect Boakai ran on integrity. And I'm going to hold him to that. Today is Friday. He's taking office on Monday. Between now and Monday, we do not know what is in the pipeline. So I'm going to hold him to that. I'm not going to rush and make conclusion that he did not declare his asset. When he said that I'm going to run on integrity, I want to fight corruption, we have to expect him to do that. He's not going to say one thing and do the other. So we're going to hold him to that. We're going to wait until he takes office. If he does not declare his asset before taking office, then I have something else to say. But right now, I'm going to hold him to that. I still look at him as a man of integrity. I look at him as somebody who's going to fight corruption in Liberia, who's going to restore the hope of the Liberian people. So I'm going to keep it right at that.
What do you say after 12 noon if he had not declared his asset? Will it mean that he has deceived the Liberian people he broke the law, he didn't do what he promised, what will you tell him?
Well, if he does not declare his asset until 12 noon, until he's sworn in as the new president of Liberia, then of course I'm going to say that he misled the Liberian people. He got to explain to the Liberian people why he said he would have declared his asset and never did. And we're going to be holding him to that, because that's the first step. If he does not fulfill this promise, how are we going to be sure that the rest of the promises are going to be fulfilled? So I'm sure he will declare his asset.
And Aliyu, the same question Ansony asked, what is the history of Mr. Boakai?
Before noon?
What is the history of Mr. Boakai and Mr. Koung declaring their asset and publishing it? Do you have any history of that?
Aliyu, you are muted.
Aliyu will say somebody.
Well, President Boakai. President Boakai.
No, Alex, that question is
has never served as president of Liberia.
Okay, Aliyu, you're good now.
Okay.
All right. So, Alex, sorry. Let me come in there. Listen, I honestly don't have that record. I don't have any record of anyone declaring their asset except recent time when Mr.
No, we are asking you about Mr. Boakai and Mr. Koung. We're not asking for just anyone. Do you have?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but listen, the Buddha. But listen, I know you don't care to play today. But let me say this: Boakai or Mr. Koung, we don't have the record. I don't even think they've ever declared their asset. Such a time, such a condition. At the time, there were no emphasis.
So why you want to trust them now? They have no history. From what you are saying, you don't know of them having any history of declaring their asset. So why you want to believe them this time?
You don't have any history of being a journalist or a podcast host. The last time I knew you were in Grand Creek County fishing. The day you enter Monrovia, the same day you enter America. Should I trust whatever you say on Focus on Liberia because you don't have the history?
And I've been here now 4 years doing this.
So but let me tell you this. Let me just say this to you. All right. Mm-hmm. Honorable Boakai said in the video or the audio that Mr. Judge has played, he said, "I will declare my asset." He said, starting with me. At no time, and I know him to be a very meticulous old man. At no time did he mention any specificity to say, "I will declare my asset before." He said, "I will declare my asset."
The code of conduct that specify when, not him. It is not optional for him.
But the code of conduct is a legal document that cannot just be defined by mere opinion. It's a legal document. It said and or after or thereafter.
All right.
So that AND in the law can mean a lot of things.
Thank you. Let's come to Jimmy here, Dennis. Aliyu, we're not going to get anything from him. Jimmy, the issue here
that's all right.
The law says before and thereafter. Thereafter, when I talk about thereafter, I'm talking about when you are changing position, it is a promotion. Then you have to, there where the thereafter applies. But when it says before, it is before you take whatever new position you got elected to or you're being appointed to. So what is your argument there? And the other part of it is, do you know Mr. Boakai and Mr. Koung to have any history of declaring asset and making it public for the Liberian people to see?
Okay, first of all, I have no record of anything of the kind. And as we say in Liberia, you don't praise white chicken. Because by the time you look, and now fall in the mud, it turned brown. We have a problem in enforcing law in Liberia. We have all the laws on the books, but it has always been enforcement. And why is enforcement challenging? Because we compromise. We have compromised our principles. We compromise our morals. We allow things to go slip by us. We were supposed to have war crime and truth and reconciliation to bring a war crime and bring people guilty for what they've done. We've done none of these things. And the reason is we always compromise. So if they take a different course now, and the president-elect takes an exemplary stance, it will be unique in our country history. And we look forward to it. But according the data does not show that we're going to enforce the law as it should be. We had just the other day, we had a question, a serious constitutional crisis whereby the deputy speaker was accused of having American citizenship. Well, he was never challenged until he was vying for speaker. So in other words, we're comfortable in living in defiance of the law. We turn the other face, and even though we have information, but we never enforce the law as it should be. So this will be unique if they do it.
Thank you, Jimmy. And Father Washington, one of the things Mr. Boakai has said is that he will govern differently. He emphasized transparency. Publishing an article once it is declared is, transparency. My question is, if by noon on Monday, Joseph Boakai takes office without declaring his assets and making it public, will you be disappointed? Will it be a promise broken? And will he be the same like Joshua, who will not declare his assets 7 months into his administration?
Well, it will be a disappointment based on what he said. However, based on what I know, based on what I've seen, based on his 40 years of public service, I'm one person who have said that I don't think he's going to govern differently, because there's nothing from his past record for me that I can look at and say, hey, this guy is going to be different. So for people who subscribe to what he says to them, they might be disappointed, but for me, I wouldn't be disappointed because I already know that he's not going to govern differently. So it's just going to be business as usual.
Thank you. Jeff Victor Nyonblee, will you share a huge disappointment?
I would be disappointed. In my opening, I said, I am prepared to give the incoming president and his team the benefit of the doubt. But quite frankly, for someone who is, who seems to take great pride in integrity, I would have really thought he would lead the way. So even my colleagues here giving him up to midday on Monday, I think by midday he would have missed, he would have missed the boat, because he should have started this a while back so that his officials would see him taking the lead and then follow. To wait until on the eve of inauguration to do that, I think will even defeat the whole purpose. I would be hugely disappointed if this coming president does not declare his asset as he has already declared. I think as a mayor of integrity, it is required of him. And so if he doesn't do so, I will be disappointed. But as others have indicated, I am also very concerned about, the minefield of contradictions that lie in the wake of this young government. They haven't even taken office yet. The contradictions are enormous. And I don't know who is really managing this team. But look, someone alluded to the deputy speaker. The man has been in the House like forever. He wants to be speaker. Now, all of a sudden, they're waking up to realize, he may not be a citizen of Liberia. But when did you know this? But not only did they bungle that, they didn't realize that their own president pro tem may also be a U.S. citizen, because the allegation is out there. Even the candidate who is going against this man may also hold a U.S. passport. So how is it that they didn't study all this before they got up and begin their grandstanding? Then, of course, they had to withdraw the whole legal suit, and nobody knows what they're going to do. So the president gets up again. He invites the whole legislature to his house. I don't think that's how it's done. The leadership of the party in this house is invited to the house, and then the president lobbies the leadership to go and lobby the rest of the team. You bring all the legislators to the House, even those who are not from your party. That's bribery. And then not only that, he offered them $25,000. So the news gets out there. Then of course they call Bowie, they chase him down and tell him to recant the story and change it to $5,000. Even if it is $5,000, that's bribery. He's offering them cash. Now, if you add that up, they also got up here and began to bash Weir for being extravagant and spending $950,000 on his inauguration. But if you add up what they're doing, even though they cut the budget to $650,000, if you add the $5,000 they're giving, they go over $1 million. So now they become more expensive than George Weir, whom they're claiming, was extravagant. So all of these contradictions, if you tally them, then there's reason to believe that this president is not going to declare his asset because he's contradicting himself all along. And it's very concerning. But yes, I would be disappointed if he adds to this another mishap by not declaring his asset. I think he should do so.
So, Dennis.
And let me 1 second. The 5,000, according to the story that came up, is for inauguration, so that counties will celebrate the inauguration in their respective localities, not a bribe. Glenn,
and I just wanted to also make that point. Thank you for even making that point. I like that Victor was very eloquent in his spin, which was very interesting to me. The things that he pulled together and juggled together to just throw out there. The budget is $650,000. Is the lowest budget from the last 3 governments that they've had. The money, the $5,000 that's going to be given to the 17 districts in Montserrat. There is also $10,000 that's going to be given to each county. All of that money is inclusive in the $650,000. It's not separate. It's all inclusive. I just wanted to make that point. It's not separate.
And Glenny, who told you that?
I've seen the budget. I'm very close with the people on the transition team that is heading the transition thing, and Miata Famule gave me that information. I can say that, and she's the head. So that $5,000 for each district in Montserrat, 17 district, and $10,000 for the remainder of the 14 counties, and that's all inclusive in that $650,000.
So in Miata's judgment,
I'll respectfully disagree.
Mr. Nagbe, hold on, you just spoke. So, Glendy, in Miata's judgment, money intended for the county should be given to the representative who sits in Monrovia and not the superintendent, who is the executive head of the county, correct?
So, and the thing about it, that's a hypothetical for me, because what you're asking me, if the superintendent, if what you're saying is almost for me to believe that there is no connection with the senator and the superintendent. If the money is intended for the county, then we have to trust that the senator will be able to do that. And who knows if this is a hearsay or whatever, but I know the funds when I'm talking about it, and my question is directly in response to Victor's allegations. The money is inclusive. The $5,000 was going to go to each district in Montserrat and $10,000 to the county. And how it gets there, whether it goes through the senator, whether it goes through the representative, the money was going to go to the county to them so that they have a simultaneous celebration as the inauguration is being held.
Miata told you this personally.
It's not her telling me personally, but what I'm saying is I have the information. This information is also public. She has also explained this.
Hold on now, guys.
I'm just one person.
Hold on. I don't want us to go.
I'm telling you exactly what I know.
Right, and that's granted. Whether that's a wise use of the money, that's another story. So I don't want us to
Thank you. I just wanted to share what I know about the money. That's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, hold on. I just wanted to.
No, real quick.
I think I reserve the right to respond because.
Hold on. I want to answer declaration. We shouldn't go into inauguration.
No, I know that. I just want to point something out. What Glendy is saying, Mr. Bowie that were vowing for this, did not come from Montserrat. He from Grand Cruz. So your premise is wrong, Glendy.
It will not be wrong because I don't know where his story came from. I'm telling you what I know about the budget. If he said that, that's something different. I'm telling you, there's all the money that is being allocated for the districts and the county. This is how it's going to use. It's one budget. It is all inclusive. That's what I know.
Thank you. We'll have a separate discussion on the budget. But my question to you, Glendy, I wanted to say, what can possibly be the reason for Mr. Boakai to delay declaring his assets till maybe noon on Monday? And the other issue here is some will say, hey, we are declared his asset, almost the same thing we heard throughout the 6 years. Oh, what's about Ellen? And they can even put a VE there. They can say, how about Ellen 12 years? So we come into that same point again. So tell me, what can possibly be the reason that Boakai and Koung has not declared the asset up to Friday, the eve of inauguration?
I don't know. I don't know what the reason could be. We would love to have seen it before. It's just like we would love to have seen. We would love by now to know who all would be stepping into those different positions. We don't know that, but I'm not going to hold him onto that until we get on Monday. Hopefully, he does it before, and that's when I'm going to be concerned. But for right now, I'm not concerned. I don't know if he has everything. I don't know if he's waiting for 11:55 a.m. on Monday to send it in. I don't know that. There are so many things, so many questions we have, so many information we want to be able to have. Now, we want to know who's going to be, I want to know who's going to be the justice minister. We're not privy to that information. Until Monday comes, then I'll ask questions. But for right now, I'm not concerned.
And for those who are watching, I've posted the code of conduct. You can read that in the link, that those coming to government should declare their asset prior to taking office. Let's wrap up on the asset declaration, Mr. Padmo. We have problem. We have a history. We are coming from the WIA era, where assets were not declared until 7 months, and even they were declared, they were never published. And when you ask, they say, use the Freedom of Information Act. What many thought is that there's going to be a complete break from the WIA time. How are you feeling?
Look, I had 12 years experience of Unity Party, including Joseph Boakai. I am not very optimistic. Even though I reserve a space for surprises, I'm not very optimistic. We have to understand, Joseph Boakai served for 12 years. I forget the exact year that the Code of Conduct was actually signed into law.
2010.
2010. Okay. And Joseph Boakai was vice president for another 7 years, almost 8 years. He did not declare his asset while there, every 3 years after, or when he left. You know? So for me to all of a sudden have this complete metamorphic, desire to believe him, it's very hard. And the thing about it is that declaring assets is only one part. There's only one step. Publishing the asset is another step. The third step is the questioning of the asset. Because we'll question. We want to know, is that only property? Why about the other one with her sister and so era? What happened with here? Where the $50,000 came from? I mean, if President Boakai on Monday publishes his asset and tell us that his bank account balance is $8,000. We all want to know where the $50,000 came from. People that get $8,000 in their account do not come up with $50,000 to give to people. So there are levels to it. So I'm not optimistic. I reserve space for surprises. But I mean, we've known Unity Party before 12 years. And we never saw any one of those things. Why we are so motivated that we'll see it now, it remains to be seen. But that's where I stand.
Yeah, Pablo said 2010. It is the Maritime law is 2010. This one is 2014, by the way. I just researched it. Just want to make that correction quickly.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Nyonblee.
Mr. Ja, I really hope that my sister Glendy and brother Kamara here, people in their category will advise this president and be very candid with this government. She said here that somebody told her that the $5,000, even though you say we're coming to that topic, but that this is captured in the budget. But if it is captured in the budget, why is he using it as an inducement? Because he invited these people to his house to induce them to vote for Richard Nagbe Koung as speaker, as opposed to Fonati Kofa. Why wouldn't the representatives? He could have also given his money to the senators, but he didn't invite the senators. He could have given his money to the superintendent. So I really challenge that this $5,000 was already captured in the budget. I think this was in addition to what is in the budget. I just wanted to make that point. And I maintain here, I think this president has a very, very fabulous opportunity ahead of him to make a good start. I think he should lead by example. We expect him to declare his assets, even if he hadn't said so. Now, on top of the expectation, he has gone ahead and he's on record for indicating that he will do so. We expect him to do so. If he doesn't do so, that is going to be a black mark on his administration, and it will dog him probably for the entirety of his administration. They should do so.
Thank you. Concluding on the asset declaration, again, the law says declare your asset prior to taking office. The Speaker of the House is announcing, hey, let's start declaring our asset, but they've already taken office. Alice, this is the whole problem, right? Where we don't respect the law. Why is it that we are not respecting the law and President-elect Boakai is not leading by example as of today?
Well, like I said before, I'm not going to rush to judgment. I expect President-elect Boakai to lead by example. In the entire administration, the rest of the people should be following his example. So the Speaker of the House has a responsibility to make sure that their assets are already waiting to be declared. The Liberian people are supposed to know how much they have in their bank accounts before taking offices, so that when they are leaving offices, they will also declare for people to know what they are leaving with. That's important. We have laws and we don't respect the laws. And then we say the country is lawless. Who's supposed to respect the law? The people that make the law should, set example. So they make the law, they need to follow the laws. We want to make sure that everything is done orderly, because this government was supported by many people, hoping that they will lead by example. That in fighting corruption, you have to show example that you are not corrupt. That's the only way people will take you seriously. So I'm hoping that the assets will be declared before noon on Monday.
Thank you, Alice. And Mr. Gilman, let me come to you there. The law also requires those leaving office to also declare, and I would demand that they make it public because they serve up publicly, so they should make their records public. Your man, President Weah, is leaving office on Monday. Are we going to see his asset declared and published before he leaves office?
But I think when the president declared his asset, you say, well, 7 months later, but he did. And the president said, according to the NEC, the asset was declared. And the beef with the opposition was, fine, you met the threshold of the law, but you need to publish. And those of us that were supporting the president said, no, he has met the threshold of the law. The law says he should declare his asset, but not publish. So the opposition said that was wrong. And this is why they were coming to change. As I stand with you, yes, the president has to declare his final asset. His exit asset declaration has to be done. That's what the law says. Even if he says, I have published, I have sent it to the NEC, he has to do that because that's what the law says. The law does not require that he publishes it. But if he wants to go beyond that, that's what he's supposed to do. But he met the threshold of declaring his assets, so I expect that's what he's going to do. Now, the incoming administration that were criticizing this president, saying, don't want to declare your asset, but publish your asset. Now publishing your asset means you got something to hide. Now they are coming in and doing exactly what, in fact, they have not even done either. At least the president declared privately, well, not privately, but to the law. These folks have not even done that. And Joseph Boakai have been in government since, he says, in 1966. And he been vice president since 2006. And he been in opposition for the past 6 years, 2018, when he was kicked out of office. You want to tell me within those 6 years, the incoming president have not put his house in order, knowing that this day was coming, that he knows. I have criticized this man for the past 6 years that he is incompetent. He's incapable of even declaring his asset. I am ready. He says, I'm going to hit the ground running. I am a man of integrity. And everything about me is going to be integrity, including people. And we are seeing that he has fallen flat on his face. And someone say here that I should be very, very polite when this man is selling us snake oil. We do this, we told you this, and my job here, I wanted to remind you that Joseph Boakai is a fraud.
Thank you.
So NEC deals with asset declaration? NEC?
No. We're not talking NEC here, please.
What he said NEC. So I just want to know why NEC deals with this.
That is his opinion. I'll leave it like that. It's an LSCC where one has to file.
No, he misspoke. Not opinion. He misspoke.
Okay. But let me comment quickly. I just want to insert one statement. There is something inherently wrong with the law, and I will tell you what that is. Yes, one should declare assets. It's written in the law. What are the consequences if you do not? What can be done? Well, how is it punishable? Will you not take your seat? Or after you leave office and you do not declare your assets, what is to happen? Can government come and seize your properties? There has to be explicit consequences in this law so that it will be able to be pursued by the justice or whoever the body responsible is. But it's a inherently crippled law, similarly to the citizenship law. It can't be applied. Why are we making laws that are incomplete and it cannot be adjudicated? This is and we repeat the same thing.
Jimmy, that's a fine point. That if one fails to declare their asset before taking office, then that person should not take office.
Exactly, it should be spelled out there.
Yeah, fine point there. So these are things we have to suggest to individuals who are close with this policy thing, right? Father Washington, you're closing here on the asset declaration. We can beat on JMB all we want. Officials are leaving office too. They too need to declare their asset. And your final point on this whole asset declaration, sir.
You know, when I used to be a teacher, when you ask a student to tell you something about the bird, and that student all his night when he was studying, he didn't say anything about a bird, and he said about the tree. He starts to say the bird is this, and then he goes to the tree and tells you everything he knows about the tree. And that's exactly what Mr. Gabin has just done. They're asking you a simple question. Exit asset. Did Josh Weah declare his asset after he was done that he's leaving? He has not said that. And he should be held accountable. Because on December 22nd, everyone who works in this government now should have declared the assets. We haven't seen his. So we don't really know. The one that he's talking about probably is the one that he declared probably 2-3 years ago. So what is the loss about this Joseph Boakai thing? And he's not even emphasizing the one that Josh Weah has not declared his, that he's leaving office.
But Father, this is something the incoming government said the old things that were done wrong, we are now coming to do it right. Therefore, you doing the wrong thing and saying, well, he did it before, then you are not the man of change as promised. This is the premise.
But you did not answer the question I was asked.
That's not the point. The point here is,
that's the point.
Is Joseph.
The question, did he declare his?
Can you read, Mr. Chair, can you read the conduct, what it says about exit asset? Can you read it, please? If it's mentioned anything about exit asset.
No, it says it, yes.
Yes, it is that. It said before and after. That is when leaving office, you also have to declare. It is clear that it's a simple law.
And the opposition said that was wrong. What George Weah did, and that the dawn of a new day. Everything will be brand new and be done right. This is where we are.
Mr. Gimmer diverting.
Council President Weah, you're gonna divert, and we understand.
No, that's not a fair way.
Very simple. And we have to go to somebody else. We need to close this segment here.
Yeah, we're closing it now. We're moving on. And I think
no. I gotta give my closing comment on it. You can just
no closing comment for you.
Yeah, and then here's the thing, and this will close the alley, please, because of time. We have to go to other issues we have here for you guys to debate. We are declared in 2005. It was made public. And I think it was in 2011, he did the same thing. He declared and also make it public. 2014, when he ran for the Senate, he declared and made it public. It was all over the place. But when he ran for president and he won at that time, in 2017, the man failed. He said he's not doing it. He said he has the children to protect. His own words. And Gamer is here cleaning it up because he's a sedition. That is pathetic. And that's why these people that support the politician do. My sister Glendy is justifying it. Aliu here. He's
I ain't justifying. I'm just saying I'm not concerned until 12 o'clock on Monday. I ain't justifying nothing. What they do
here, and I'm here to call them out. And Sam Waller is here in the comment section. FOL is saying all kinds of things. This is what we do. We hold these people accountable. They are public officials. We want them to do the right thing. That would take us to the next issue.
No. Answer. Let me just say this. It will not just take you like that. You got to come back. Let me say this 1 minute. Dennis Ansony Sieh, can you guys make a call to Councilor Jewell? This is a councilor I really trust because he's endowed not only with the understanding of the law but with common sense. Let him really interpret this one clause because then it's making it to appear as if the law entirely talking about prior. This law is vague, like Mr. Eastman tried to propine. This law is vague. And that is why people will take advantage of the law if they can. Don't believe me, ask Donald Trump.
Oh, Lord.
Right. And the issue here is the law is one thing, and also the credibility, the integrity that JNB ran on. He said will declare my asset. He has not done so.
Yeah, he will.
Hold on. This is the issue that we've had throughout we are 6 years. Anytime you try to hold them accountable, they say, what's about Ellen? Now we are coming to a point that when you holding JNB accountable, they say, but we are declared. And we're going to go through that again for another 6 years. But let's move on. There's something in Liberia we call the tenure position. In these positions, you are there for a specific period of time. And because they don't want the president to have any interference, they want you to be as independent as possible. So you have these positions tenured. What we've seen so far is when you have this tenure position, the people become political. For example, Len Eugene Nyonblee, who's in a tenure position, was the campaign manager of the CDC. Now, it's being reported that Eugene Nyonblee has resigned ahead of the expiration of his tenure. He still got 2 years. He resigned. We are also hearing Front Page Africa reported that there are backdoor negotiations going on, meaning the incoming Boakai government is negotiating with these tenure people to say, hey, here is a hefty package for you to leave so that we can bring in our men. My question to you here is, like in the case of Len Eugene Nyonblee, we don't know why he resigned. Is it part of the negotiation that is going on or not? We don't know. We have no records of that. But the purpose of the tenure, is it really being enforced? If people are bringing in their own people for tenure, if tenure people are being political, are getting political appointments, when Wolo Colley was appointed to another tenure position, he quickly went and resigned his CDC vice chairmanship. Father Wilson, let's talk about tenure. Len Eugene Nyonblee resigned. What is your understanding of this tenure, and are these tenure positions actually serving their purpose, or they're being manipulated?
Well, for me, I think if those who making these appointments select people based on their credibility, based on experience, based on ethical grounds, then it will make sense. Because for one reason, if someone is even on a tenure position and it can be established that person did not live according to why he or she was appointed, and on more grounds, that person can be removed. In the case of Land Union, what I heard was that he resigned because he wants to identify with his party, and he doesn't want to be working in government and while his party is out. So he thought this is the time that I will leave government and be in an opposition and work with my party for the future. So for me, if even there's a tender position and somebody's in that position and the government comes in and it can be proven that that person did not live up to the expectation of that position, I think you have the right to remove that person, even though it's a tender position. You have to just establish more grounds why that person should not maintain their position. So these positions should be based on people. People should be called to this position, should be selected to this position based on credibility and ethical standards. And if they don't meet those standards, then they should be removed.
You mean removed as fired or negotiated? Yeah. Hey, please leave. We're going to give you some money because we want to.
No. Not on that ground. Removed because you did not live up to the ethics of the position. So we can find out that you were corrupt, and we'll ask you to resign, and we can prosecute you. And if you don't want to do that, we'll take you to court to prove that we have grounds why you should be removed. Because that's the only reason why these people can be removed.
No, I'd like to come in, please.
Yeah, and Jimmy, the question to you is...
Jimmy said why you disagree, and now I can see whether...
you were coming with a disagreement, but I want to add a layer to that are these tenure positions serving their purposes?
Very good.
Or are they being manipulated? If so, should we keep them?
Now, that's it. Let's go to the empirical reason why this whole idea of tenure was established. You wanted a civil servant to occupy a position that they will be non-political. They'd be owed to the job, and their decisions will not be swayed by one political party or the other. That was the whole reason for establishing it. We saw that when the We administration took over, this whole tenure issue came up, and some people were forced to resign. Not as my brother just said for corrupt reason, but they just said we want to replace you. You serve at the what was they saying? They serve at the will of the president, and so we should. And this issue came up, and it ended up replacing some people. Again, there's a fundamental issue here, and that is enforcement of the law. We have issue with abiding by the same laws that we swear to uphold. And if this trend doesn't change, we will not be people of integrity. And that is what is slowing us down. So right now, I'm not surprised at all that if all tenure positions are replaced by new personnel, it's as if we shouldn't even have tenure positions anymore. That's how it appears.
Thank you, Jimmy. And Pablo, is there a whole way the tenure positions being handled now defeating the purpose of establishing tenure position in the first place? And before you come in, let me make it clear that Eugene Nyonblee was appointed in violation of the law to be appointed campaign manager. That was a violation. He shouldn't have been appointed campaign manager for CDC while he was serving as a tenure position. That is clear. Go ahead.
All right. So I remember that came up when Eugene Nyonblee was appointed campaign manager, and I believe his response was that he was taking a break, a hiatus from Maritime while being campaign manager. And that was his response. I'm not justifying it. I'm just giving information. But look, there are several things to this. The tenure position will always have such things as this. When you have a change in government, even for the people that hold those positions, you have to ask yourself the question: do you want to be harassed? Why, you know what? If you have 2 more years in this position, do you want to be harassed for the next 2 years? Do you want to be scrutinized more than anybody else for the next 2 years? Do you want people looking over your shoulder, trying to find every single reason to fire you? You know, nobody wants to work in that environment. And so because of that, you see people just resign. Eugene Nyonblee get resign. Eugene Nyonblee, excuse me, doesn't want to go through that for the next two years. And it's not worth it to be stressed all of that, you know, over such things. That's why you will see him and a lot of other people just resign because of that. Some people, like you say, if there is indeed deals being made, some people will take the deal because, look, they don't want that. If you refuse the deal, what are your options?
And Mr. Padmo, why would they be harassed and over-scrutinized? Why?
Because the incoming government will want to put their own people in place. The incoming look, politics, there have been a lot of deals made.
Like Ansony was asking you, it defeats the purpose of this whole
thing. Yes, it does. It defeats the purpose. It defeats the purpose when the president is the appointer of these positions. It defeats the purpose. Some people have suggested that instead of the president being the one that appoints these people, even when it comes to the election, the National Election Commission, which is the next one that we are going to scrutinize, because the incoming government now, they're not very satisfied with a lot of people over there. People like Mo Ali and other people had a lot of accusations against several commissioners and other people within there. What's going to happen? Some people have suggested that, look, some sort of a committee set up that has, you know, people that are neutral, people from the interfaith religion, people from the community and other areas that will come together and suggest names to the president so that the president is not hiring one of his own hunchmen to the position. But the fact of the matter is, the reality is that, look, when elections are playing out and you see people are building alliances, those alliances are not coming without attachments. People support candidates because they expect certain things in return. There are people who want to be Maritime boss, and they are not going to sit there for the next 2 years and wait for Eugene Nyonblee to finish doing what he's doing. They will apply pressure. And it's the sad reality. Ansony is right. You know, these tenure positions, they're not living up to why they were given. You know, where you have the security, where you can make decisions and not be fearful of your position, of your job being taken away. It defeats the purpose. It does, unfortunately.
So Glendy, go ahead, Ansony.
No, I'm going to Glendy.
Yeah, Glendy. So are we, if you know, we can believe what or agree with Mr. Padmo, are we saying maybe this is the same old?
Bring the spin, Glendy. Let's hear it.
No, I'm not going to agree with Padmo.
Okay.
I'm not going to agree with him on that. I think if it's a tenure position, when Eugene Nyonblee accepted the position, he should have he should be able to end his term. That explanation, I mean, why he doesn't want to waste his time. Is it something that now that he realized he has to waste his time? There may be other things in the play. Now, the hearsay that there's a possibility that JMB government wants to bring in their people, so the people that are in tenure positions, now they want them to leave. I think that would be wrong if they're doing that. And I hope that's not what they're doing. People that are in tenure position, unless you find out that they're into corruption or they're into something that is against their function, that you can remove them, then do that. But if you cannot and they're serving, you have to be able to follow what the law says. And all of these premature, I look at Eugene Nyonblee's resignation as being very premature. For the almost 1 year, he hasn't really done anything at Maritime. He was campaigning, and then all of a sudden, he's done. And even the letter was like, who writes such a resignation letter? So there may be more to it, but I wouldn't take it that because he's tired or because it's going to be a waste of time, that's why he has to leave. People should serve their term. And if they forfeit serving it correctly, then you can remove them.
Well, he has a right to resignation, correct?
He does have that. And then they have to investigate that to find out why is it that he's resigning.
Investigate his resignation?
They can ask him.
Why?
People resign, and the position is a tenure position. Even if he wants to resign at will, they still can find out from him. When somebody resign, I'm used to the fact where if you resign here, They do an exit with you. They do an exit interview. They ask you, why are you leaving? What's happening? Because at the point that he's resigning, JMB has not taken office, or he has, maybe he does either. Maybe he has somebody, maybe it wasn't even on their mind to replace him because it was a tenure position. So the fact that he's done it prematurely, which now means that they have to find somebody to put in that position, is even more important that they ask him why.
Leo.
Yes, sir.
Eugene Nagbe is saying he's resigning because he wants to work for CDC and and make the opposition vibrant, because the country needs a vibrant, or democracy needs a vibrant opposition. Remember, Eugene Nagbe came from NPP to CDC to Unity Party and now CDC. So coming from one government to the other has not been a problem for him.
Yeah. Listen, look, I will not delve into this insinuation that somebody got a package and they're trying to pay people and all that stuff. That this is Liberia for you. You know, we have to speculate. It's part of the process. But what's happening to Eugene Nagbe is going to happen to a few others. Eugene Nagbe is looking at his shadows. Eugene Nagbe broke the law. Eugene Nagbe also understand how he got to that position and how many people at the Maritime Commission was marginalized and taken advantage of by their administration. According to the code of conduct that you just read, and again, when you have the power, you can take advantage of it.
You believe it now? We shouldn't call lawyer now. You're quoting it?
No. But I'm coming. I mean, the Eugene Nagbe is Eugene Nagbe know the government better than I do. He's been working in government and upon him, so he knows these things better than I do. And Eugene Nagbe.
But Jerome, we're only talking about Boakai being at 66 here. Jump over Eugene Nagbe.
Yeah, Eugene Nagbe broke the law by campaigning while he was Maritime Commissioner. When you make these statements such as, when we win our government, no Unity Party person working our government, the Unity Party be you. What you were doing, not resign. You just see your own shadow from far. You know what's about to happen. And so it's not just Eugene Nagbe. This is not about package. All of those things are just made up. It's not about package. It's not about the fact that somebody's going to suppress someone. No, not at all. If you have been doing a good job and you've been in tenure position where you're supposed to work only for the people in accordance to the law, accordance with law, and you leave that and you Zigwe party headquarters, you got CDC just on you, you're running from, you eating chicken boom with your wear everywhere you go. Of course you see your own shadow every time. That's what happening. Nobody pressuring nobody.
Victor?
Let me eat my chocolate, sir.
You know, on the face of it, it looks like the honorable thing to do on the part of Mr. Nagbe. The Maritime Commissioner is probably one of these most coveted positions in the government. So one will understand if he wants to vacate the position, to give the incoming government the opportunity to put their own person in place. But then again, as you just indicated, Eugene Nagbe is known to be a perpetual government employee. I mean, for the past quarter century, the man has served in pretty much every government. Why is he leaving now? So then the question would be, what are the motivations? Is something chasing him, or is he chasing something? But I will leave that to him. He'll probably explain later on. But I think he reserves the right to resign. I heard Glennie say, they should inquire from him why he wants to do that. I don't think they need to. I mean, that's his right. He can decide to quit.
That should be his.
He could put up a fight if he were being fired for no cause, but he's not being fired. So I will lean on the side of him doing the honorable thing and trying to give this incoming government the free hands, flexibility to put their own people in place. But this is pretty questionable, pretty much. He has 2 years left on a very good contract, and he's leaving. I read somewhere that he said he's going to try to devote his time to the party and all that, but he didn't do that when he should have, when he was a campaign manager. He's one of the reasons why they lost, because he got very lazy. He did nothing. But then he was also breaching the code of conduct because he decided to take a leave of absence while he was, serving as commissioner and also running the party campaign. The code of conduct didn't say you should take a leave of absence. You either stay or you quit. He didn't do that. So now that this government is leaving and he has found it necessary to leave, good riddance. Quite frankly, I would be hard pressed to point to anything that this man did for the commission for the time he was there. I was reading somewhere, he led the commission into some category and all of that. What does that mean?
I read that too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what exactly does that mean? So I think it's good that he's leaving. It will give incoming President Boakai the opportunity to put his own person in place.
And Alice, in case we continue to see more of these resignations, should that be some signs that negotiation going on, some deal being worked out? And because I think people are getting hefty packages that they are ascribing to themselves, even before Boakai comes in. So what should we be looking for when it comes to these tenure positions?
Well, I don't think any negotiations are going on. Some people, it may not be Eugene Nyonblee specifically, but some people are resigning because of what they did during the campaign. Some people campaigned to the extreme, and now that people they did not expect to win are now, about to take over. So, they might feel uncomfortable working, in such government. So it may not necessarily be some negotiation or packages that they're giving people to resign. Who wants to be jobless? Even if they give you package, everybody want to go to job in the morning. So I don't think that's the case.
The packages can be pretty hefty. Like in the case of the MPHS school superintendent before, he asked for something that the government couldn't afford. They say, well, sit down there. We're not even going to pick you on or lay you down, right? So these things happen.
Well, okay. If some of the things are happening, that's up to the people that are doing it. But in my view, I don't think people should be trading positions and money at this point. I also want to say people that are in tenure position, they should refrain from running active campaigns during campaign seasons, because they already qualify people in these positions. They're supposed to pay attention to the positions and do their jobs. So, the next government coming in, they will have no reason to want to remove you if you qualify for your job. If you're doing your job effectively, nobody want to remove you. But if you, being so political, then there's no need for the tenure positions because that's not the purpose. And I think they should really look into that. Maybe we don't need tenure positions because everybody in Liberia now is like they're so politically charged, in every position, including nurses and doctors, some doctors. So we need to look at some of the positions and make some changes. Yeah.
But I think we should be a country of laws, though. We shouldn't have the country conform to people. If we're saying there should be no tenure position, and then because this is on the books, it's the law. I think we should make people.
Yeah, it's the law, but the law is not being, executed effectively. So what do? People are violating, even from the House, from the House of Representatives, House of Senate. People violating everywhere. Unless we decide to be a country of law, these things can go on, without problems. But for now, we have to be serious.
Yeah, we have to be serious.
For each time the law is violated,
let's Jerome conclude on the tenure issue, and we move to our.
Where we're going.
Father Wilson, please turn your phone into landscape. You know what to do. Jerome, let's talk about tenure.
The tenure positions, to me, it is a hot political decision. I remember this because I was very close to a cousin of mine who was president of the central bank. We talk about Mayo Jones, and prior to that, we talk
I
about.
thought you were cousin to President Weah too.
Listen, Mr. How do you call his name? Mr. Patriot, the one that took over from Mayo Jones. When he was being asked to leave, you saw the packages that were put together for some of these for like 300,000, 400,000. Okay, for these people to leave. We are not talking about small amount of money here. Someone like Eugene Nagbe, for the kind of money he was making at Maritime to leave, nobody is going to leave $200,000-300,000 US on the table and say, I want to leave it because I want the next person to come in on a bed of roses. No, there's a lot of negotiation going on so that these people can leave, and those who earn or who work very hard for bringing in Joseph Boakai to also, some of these positions pay so much money that it is unbelievable the money they are making. So for someone to leave 2 years of salary on the table, like the Basel man said, when you see the chicken, they say the mother hen does not go down south for nothing. It comes with something behind it. I think Mr. Jahaz said that, I think was very, very poignant the other day. He said, when a hunter say, I killed deer, don't believe it until you see what his wife is cooking. So if these guys are telling you that they are leaving just because they want to leave, let us check behind and see what's actually happening. Because I was privy to some of the things that when Western Ghana Finley was president pro tem, some of the contracts, some of the money these folks were making at the bank at these different tenure positions. It is mind-boggling. This is what we are talking about. Why should somebody make $200,000-300,000 in Liberia in one position in Liberia? So yes, if Joseph Boakai wants to bring in his people, it would make sense to buy these guys out, like Front-Page Africa said. The central bank, the governor of the central bank, his contract lasts until July 2026. But if Joseph Boakai wants to put somebody else that he wants, then he can buy him out and negotiate. So these are the things that are happening here. So don't let anybody fool you that they will leave $300,000 on the table because they love Liberia and they want Joseph Boakai to come in on a bed of roses. That's not true. These guys are making so much money. They are not even 1%. They are less than 1%ers here. Yeah. They will not leave that kind of money without negotiating.
And let's be clear, we are also close to some people. There are talks. There are negotiations. People are talking. People are considering. I don't know if there are actual negotiations going on, but there have been people who want those jobs are kind of talking about these things. Hey, I want this, and this is what I want done so that I can get the job. I'm not saying that President Boakai or his team are actively negotiating, but people who want those jobs, they are talking about these things, and we are hearing it. That takes us to our final topic here tonight, which is the Unity Party withdrew their challenge against Speaker Fonati Kofa on his Liberian citizenship. What's going on here? Did the Unity Party see your own shadow? Were they just pretending? What's going on? Or is this another false start for the Unity Party? Let me start with you, Glendy.
I'm happy that you started with me because I was about to get off.
I know.
But I think I was disappointed. And I think I've shared my sentiments even on my personal page that Unity Party decided to withdraw the case. For me, it was not just about Fonati Kofa, and I want to be very clear because my brother Victor, believe it or not, we go way back. We are Cuttington people, but we go back and forth on each other. He specifically mentioned in his intro that there are other people from Unity Party. He insinuated that Unity Party probably withdrew because there were other people in the camp who also are citizens of America or whatever it is. But I wasn't concerned with the fact that there are other people. I was concerned with the fact that if the law says that you cannot hold an elected position if you have another citizenship, then be it Nyonblee Kanga, be it what's his name, Koung, be it Fonati Kofa, then they would have been against the law. And so I wanted for the case to be taken to court, because it will also be at the benefit of other Liberians who might want to go back home and run for an elected position. We understand that this whole thing blew out of the card because of Fonati Kofa. He was running, and the assumption is that he has an American citizenship, but it still does not say that the court should not interpret what the law say. And so that is why I wanted it to go to court. So I was disappointed that they pulled off from it. I hope they can still go, because who knows, I may want to run for president tomorrow. And if I have another country's citizenship, we don't have an interpreter. People say, oh, Fonati was already serving. That was fine. But there is still a discovery time. If they decided in his first term, nobody discovered that he was a citizen of another country, nobody wanted to take it to court, that's their thing. The fact that it was discovered now, I felt, and I still feel, that they should have continued with their case and it should have gone to the courts.
And why you think they didn't continue? Because they're seeing their own shadow, or what?
And I don't know why. And if they had other people, or if they didn't want to drone out process, there were other people who were saying that some of the representatives would have boycotted the inauguration. There's just so many days around. I'm saying here, the fact that there's a connection with me, with Nyonblee Koung and other people, if there is proof that there were other people who had citizenship, and I'm saying, making it very clear that the case should have gone to court, so that the lawyers, so that the Supreme Court will have an opportunity to interpret the law, so that we will know it once and for all. So I'm still disappointed that it didn't go for it. And then somebody is pointing out, other people also say, what would have happened with Cummings? We hear that Cummings have another citizenship also. So what would have happened in his situation? He was running for president of Liberia. I think the court still needs to find time to interpret the law, so that we know who benefits and who doesn't, and so that we all, as dual citizens in our role, can be also a part of the Liberian government if we choose to.
Mr. Gilman, was it because the case itself was frivolous, or they don't have the standing, or they knew that Fonati was going to win, or another negotiation? What are your thoughts?
Well, not only, I would say all of the above. We all knew that during the CDC time, we put this same strategy forth. We came to North Carolina and got a voting record of Robert Sieh. We got his passport. We got his voter card. We got who he voted for. We got all of those things. CDC presented it, that this man was an alien. He was not qualified, and that went nowhere. As we understood, they say even people that were sitting on the Supreme Court bench, some of them are U.S. citizens themselves. We did the same thing with Ellie Johnson Sirleaf. We said she was a U.S. citizen. That went nowhere. George Weah admitted that he's a world citizen. He got citizenship in France. Everywhere he played soccer, he did that. We all knew that. What happened to that? My own friend Thomas Groupie, I went to his swearing in Boston. He became citizen of the United States. He went to Liberia. People said it. He ran. He became senator for Nima County. So everybody over there, to some degree, are American citizens. Unity Party, it knew this. It was a bluff. They knew that. What was the first case that we presented was a propaganda, went to the U.S. Embassy, and the U.S. Embassy said that's a private matter. We do not delve into people's privacy. So how do you prove that Robert Sieh was a United States citizen? That would not happen. So how do you prove this? The person has to admit. At least Koung admitted that he's an American citizen, and he denounced. He said he denounced his American citizenship.
Wow.
2018, based on what we read in the paper, if it's true. He said he denounced his American citizenship 2018. And the passport said he was born in Nigeria, of Liberian parentage, and all of that stuff. So what was happening here was, according to
the passport said he was born in Nigeria. Let's be clear.
Yes.
Because that was Akaro's great propaganda. So where are you getting that?
That's what I'm saying. What we saw in the paper, and that's what the American embassy was saying, that they do not delve into what people say and all of that. But what I'm saying here is, listen, almost Liberia law is based on precedents. Okay, Almost everybody from the beginning of the country that were president of Liberia have always been foreigners. Okay?
No, that's not true.
Joseph Jingin Rabo was born in Liberia?
No, but they were not U.S. citizens. They didn't grant them citizenship in America.
Well,
blacks were not citizens.
Well, if you say so, so I don't know about that. But from there to president, I think Totman was the first president, maybe born, whatever that is, or Bagley, whatever that is. But the fact here is that this is a murky area. These guys knew there was not a winnable case. They were just a bluff, and Fonati Kofa never bid.
Mr. Nyonblee, the whole concept before I go to I switch it over to Mr. Sieh, this whole thing about our laws, right? Like the list is just the names on the list are just endless about people who many things have dual citizenship, and based on the restrictions in the alien nationality law that they cannot hold certain positions. But what is this thing with our laws? That a United Party would know that this is not supposed to happen. This is the law. But then you withdraw the case. Do we respect laws, or we are just joking?
Mr. I respect my sister and friend Glendy, my Scorpion sister. I'm sorry she's not here, but that's exactly the point that I was making from the onset. The law is very clear. If you listen to Emmanuel Wetty, Eminent Wetty, he has been the point man for the union on the dual citizenship. There are positions that you are allowed to, you are barred from occupying. I believe the Minister of Finance, Minister of Defense. I am not sure if the Speaker of the House is one of those.
No, elected position. You can be representative or senator if you have dual citizenship.
Okay. So, but the point thank you for the correction. The point I was making was, I thought the United Party people were grandstanding. And I don't know why they do this. The level of incompetence in these early days of this government is astounding. I mean, you have the likes of Kofi Wu. He's a very brilliant lawyer. You have other lawyers in there who are advising these people. I don't understand. So they pick up this case about Kofa, but they did not do their own research, and I'm very certain they soon realized that the rope they were talking on was actually pulling other people into the fray. They realized quickly that their president pro tem may also have a U.S. passport. That Richard Koung, who is this candidate, may also have a U.S. passport. Now, if the law is the law, then I think you should stay with the case. If the law says these people, if they hold foreign passport, they are not allowed to run for elected position, that is your case. Then you should make the case, stay with it to its final, to its conclusion. But they realize that when they continue with this case, it is also going to torpedo their own run for the legislature and the Senate. And I think that's why they're trying to abandon it. Again, that brings to question where is the spine in this government? If you're going to take up a case like that, either you're aware of its repercussions and therefore you stay with it, or you were unaware and you want to change course, midship. It's surprising how they're fumbling. This is really another unforced error. I don't know how they're going to get past this, because like Glendy said, they should pursue this case. This is a test case for a number of people, including some of us who are over here, who have our children over here, who do citizenship. Let's test it out and see what the law says in the back room in Liberia. They pick up a pretty good case and they dropped it simply because of political considerations. I'm sure Mr. Kamara here will have a counter to that. But I'm very disappointed over the manner in which these guys are falling over themselves, unforced errors from one to the other.
Well, this will be the first time Aliyu Kamara will not have a counter, but to agree with you.
I am shocked myself.
Mr. Kamara, your turn. What do you think?
I completely disagree with him.
Look at
completely disagree with him. You see, what's going on here is simply a man who is sitting on the top, who is full of wisdom and strategy. He once told you, and Dennis can remember this vividly, I said, when you go on the farm, you found that the river is full. You're not supposed to join the water. You turn around, you go back. The water will still get back. You understand? Look,
Enough funny.
Who's best to take all this case other than a solicitor general? A solicitor general. Who's better to take over this case than a solicitor general? So you know what? We're about to go to inauguration. Let's cut it up. Come back, boys. Come back. Let's bring it through.
So why do it in the first place?
No, but the Solicitor General cannot pick up the case without it being brought to him. He's not going to go out.
The party is involved. I would not be brought to.
Aliu, why do it in the first place and then you turn around? Does this really weaken you if you just going back and forth like that?
No, that's not the way you should see things, Dennis.
So why go if you're going to withdraw?
Were they playing games?
You didn't go into it knowing that you were going to withdraw.
You didn't know what they were doing?
Excuse me.
They didn't know what they were doing?
Everyone who is a better strategist will always learn to retreat. If you cannot retreat, even after putting everything together, analyze everything, and you cannot retreat to come back with the kind of force you need, and you still continue to go because Dennis said you have to go because you started, that's even more appalling because you have to strategize. Now, the decision was taken based on some sentiments were involved as well. So the PAP, this is what I heard. I don't speak to the PAP directly. The PAP said, come back to base. We will take care of this.
Allow me to come in, man.
So you reverse course. You also lost the position. Where is the fight there?
Yeah,
I can promise you today that Fonati Kofa may not end that position as speaker.
Oh, and never enter threat.
All right. Listen, we have to take the veil over our eyes and understand that our whole legislature, government, they are disingenuous. We said on the show the other day when we were on the show that that case is dead on arrival. Why? Because a multiplicity of people in our government have dual citizenship. We've never honored it. When some people are even going to run for president, they say, don't mind that. All these people have dual citizenship, and it proves to be right. Let me show you how disingenuous our people are. The people took their salaries in the legislature up to $15,000. Who makes that kind of money? But they didn't care about the country. This is what I'm saying. They're disingenuous. And here is why they get away with it. They get away with it because the next group waiting outside, they don't want to stop them from doing it. They just want to join the party. They want to do the same thing. We're always repeating, you see PRC, people repeating corruption. That's all we do. We have a cycle of people coming in, doing catering to the same unwholesome practices, enjoying the benefits while the poor people are out there suffering. It continues. And that is why this whole thing about, Mr. Gaiman is right. It was a bluff because they knew. A lot of them knew they were all guilty of the same. Where we will pull road, we will pull bush, where will it go? And it was just dropped. So it was just on arrival.
There could be some fears for which they reconsider their decision. And I've been hearing from Unity Party insiders, someone that said, well, if we pursue this case, Joseph Boakai will be nominating individuals, some of whom hold U.S. citizenship or dual citizenship. The CDC in the Senate will invoke this same inquiry, and many of these people might get denied. So let us not start a fight that may work against us, because Unity Party has a diaspora base who are in Liberia now, waiting for Joseph Boakai to bless them with a job. And some of them, carry U.S. passport. And by virtue of the law, they should not be appointed to any such position in the first place. So they say, well, let's leave this alone. We don't want our own fight. So, Mr. Palmer, could this be one of the considerations for which they decided to boycott this thing? Or it was just the mere fact that, like my friend Gaiman said, it was just a bluff. They didn't have the balls to do so.
No, I definitely believe that was part of the consideration. I definitely believe that was part of the consideration. But in all honesty, I did, it wasn't just that they were afraid that people would get caught up in the web, but at least what came to my desk was that they were afraid that a lot of nominations would be held up. So basically, if somebody was nominated to a position and somebody took that person to court, asking for the same thing, how can that person be confirmed while that is in court? So there will be a backlog of people who coming from the US to hold those positions, and then waiting for their turn in court. So that was what came before me. Not so much about being afraid of getting caught up. I think a lot of people are very confident that they've hidden their citizenship enough that nobody will find out. But that was what I got. But it was not because, it wasn't because they had some hallelujah moment and decided they were going to move on. No, it definitely factored in that they thought that this far-reaching case could go beyond. And I also learned that there were people who pushed it, that this wasn't a boycott decision. There are people who are American citizens. They are openly American citizens, but want positions in the government and are looking to run in the next elections, in the next senatorial elections, and in the by-elections. As you know, there's a seat open in Nyonblee. People are looking to run, and they don't want to be held up. And so for them, this was the time. If the Supreme Court could come out in their favor, it will unleash them to do what they want to do now and moving forward. So there's a lot of invisible hands that were tugging, and so the old man had to make a decision, and he told them, "Y'all leave it for now," and which is very telling. Y'all leave it for now. Wait till we get in there, then we can manipulate our way to where we want to go. Don't forget, President Boakai is going to be nominating a Supreme Court justice to the bench. Let's not forget that.
Thank you. And Alice, what does this say about our political parties, especially the United Party that is now coming and its leader is saying they will govern differently? I think this is about accountability, about our laws. So this is a political party that made a decision that, well, this Fonati might be in violation of our law, so we're going to take it to the Supreme Court. And then they chicken out at the 11th hour. Can these people be trusted when it comes to enforcing the law and holding people accountable when it comes to the law? Should we have reason to think that our leaders are not about the law and doing things right?
Well, I wouldn't say, they can be trusted, but we have to hold them accountable to do the right things. The law is the law, and if somebody is violating the law, they have the right to take them to court. And if they took the person to court, whether it's something that will come after them later, whether they got people with dual citizenship, well, if that comes about, they can solve it the same way. Make sure you do the right thing. If you know the law is not good for Liberians, don't make the law. But they make laws that nobody respects. And it's kind of troubling because, how many times you see the eminent person, Mr. Wetty. I've been following the dual citizenship forever, and they passed it the last time. And they have all kinds of, because I even read it and I was disappointed because I felt like it was discriminatory. You have some people that are not even respecting it, and you have them making the laws. It's a deceit. Somebody who got dual citizenship, got American passport, is the one making law, telling other people they can't run for positions because they are dual citizens. It doesn't make any sense. And now it has to reach to some point for these very people to be identified that they got dual citizenship. And then we say, wait, no. Let's leave it right now. Because when we haul Bush, the Bush going to haul something else.
There you go.
How are we going to govern the country when we continue to do this? When are we ever going to have laws that resembles the laws of America, where when it is black, it's black, when it is blue, it's blue? People gotta be calling people to tell them they want positions. They can get put a position up, people apply, when they qualify, you interview them, get a job. But now you have to know somebody has to know another person. When are we going to graduate from these stages and come to the real country to govern it? But the starting is not encouraging. I hope we can do better, because going to the court and coming back, it's like, it's not serious. Nothing serious. We don't make anything serious. And so nobody respect the law. We become lawless. The laws are there, but nobody respect them. And it's very, very terrible.
And so, Alex, how do we begin to respect our laws? Who should start? How do we start? Where do we start?
Enforce the consequences.
Well, that's a good question. And that's why we're hoping that the laws will be enforced. The laws are there, but they need to be enforced. And we're really counting on the incoming government to start to enforce the laws. It has to start from somewhere.
The Constitution is clear.
Has been,
the Constitution is clear. According to our body.
It's clear.
Our form of
but
government.
Nobody is enforcing them. The problem.
Alex, who should be enforcing the laws according to our Constitution?
It is clear who's supposed to be enforcing it. You got the executive to take actions, but then if it is coming from the executive, then we don't know, because the executive is very powerful in Liberia. So if the violation is coming from there, then it makes it very difficult for anybody to follow, the law.
Thank you.
But Ansony, they think that society, they're running the government the same way they were running the government for. Just like that society, once you inside, they don't go and spill the beans on each other. Once you get inside, that's how they run it. Do you think they don't know these things?
Thank you, Jimmy. Let me go to Father Wilson, and then we bring in our callers. Callers, if you're watching and want to join the conversation, dial 605-313-6004. The code is 791-403#. Father Wilson, if what Aliyu said, that President-elect Boakai is saying, hey, even though we started this, but withdraw because we have certain things at stake, we're going to catch them later. I think that's even more troubling, that we're going to be situational with this law. We're going to implement it at a time it suits our interest, and when it doesn't, then we say, okay, let's leave it small.
Did I say all that?
Father Wilson, you said JMB said withdraw fire, we're going to do it, and you said that Fonati Kofa is not going to be speaker because the case is going to go back, but because there are certain things at stake now, so let's leave it and do it later. That's even more worrisome, Father Wilson, don't you think?
I think when I listened to everybody, for me, selective outrage, cancel culture in our country needs to be opposed. And I think the act of the Unity Party for me is shambolic and embarrassing. The thing is that the Unity Party at the first place, they had at the back of the mind that they will win the deputy speaker and the speaker position in the House. That's the first thing they had at the back of their mind. They were going to win it. They thought they were, and that's the reason why they brought all these representatives to the president-elect House to even give them something. They was very sure. Now, when they were beaten and with a bloody nose, the first thing that came to their mind, what is the next option? They never thought about it. And very reasonable, they never thought about it. What do we do now? So the first thing was sentiments. If we can have it, we can find a way to get it out. Because if we don't get it out, it's not going to help us going forward. So the first thing that comes to mind, they take him to court and make sure that we removed him. And then they look at the time spent they had from that day to the time of inauguration. They knew that they could not make it. So then they realized that, hey, we're going the wrong way. So they come back and recalibrate and see what we can do in the future. So for me, I think it was embarrassing for the United Party. And they should have. I don't think Liberians should be people should go after people who are born Liberians. I know the law is there, but this is not born Liberian. You're gonna go after him because he has beaten you in an election to remove him so that you get somebody there that is going to help you to do what you want to do. I think that's what I call this selective outrage. If it's not, it should not be them. And I don't think our country should be running this way. And I think that's the reason why United Party realized that, hey, this is not going to work for us. Because it will go this way, it might come and haunt us. So they realized right after they made that decision, they came back to themselves and said, hey, we made a wrong decision. So they cut it off.
And the next thing we saw was the president-elect taking picture with a very Fonati man. He didn't want, for which he was giving $5,000 to lawmakers.
Yeah, so it was intentional.
And Aliu said that is smart politics.
Another contradiction.
After you dish out money for this man to be defeated, he defeated you, and now you're taking picture with him.
All guys are opinions.
Oh, because
and that's politics.
Thank you, guys. Let me.
Now is to take picture and pretend now, oh, we are all together now. Let's work together. Yeah. But you never thought about
we need. According to what was reported, is you need him at the inaugural. So because Fonati, according to reports, threatened to boycott the inaugural. So they said, let's withdraw this. Let's catch him at a time that he's not expecting us. Let me bring in some callers here. The first is Flomo Livingstone. He's a UP partisan. Flomo, you're live. Go ahead, sir.
Great show. No, I just feel concerned. No, people concerned about JMB when he took the 50,000 from, 50 or 55,000. No, JMB has been doing that for a long time. He has a non-profit organization.
Let him just tell us. That's all.
That's what I'm trying to tell you now. You got a non-profit organization that is registered in the state of Rhode Island and 501c. All the ferries that he be donating in Liberia, you know how much each of the ferry costs? He be donating that. You guys did not ask him for that.
No, Flomo, let him just tell us. That's all.
Right? I'm just telling you, he got non-profit organization.
But he didn't say that's where he got the money from.
So what was it non-profit when you were taking money from Staten through custom? What was it non-profit?
For a long time. Even the Zobos. If you saw during the election, you saw I know they call him Moses Blai, I know Paul Naked, you saw in your campaign for him. Even he said that the GMB have been helping this about the youth in his compound there. He be helping those people. He help the youth. He's where you think he getting all that money from. Look, for me, I support asset declaration. I want him to declare his assets, and I hope he does that.
Before Monday.
I hope he can do that before Monday. You know, that would be nice. That would set a precedent at least so the other people can follow.
Thank you.
But my problem is I hope the outgoing leaders can declare their assets too, and the legislature too.
Yeah.
They have to do the same.
And if JMB doesn't declare,
accusing the president elect of not declaring his assets. One lie you can't about declaring his own assets.
That's true. Ansony is saying, what if Joseph Boakai does not declare before noon on Monday? What happened to your faith in Boakai?
I still get faith in him.
Thank you.
The problem is,
thank you. That's all.
That would not stop it.
Thank you. Let me bring up Tedman. Tedman, you're live quickly.
Yeah, thank you, Bennett, for inviting me again on the show. You see, that's a problem we have in Liberia. You know, when the shoe fits you, it's on someone else's fault, you talk trash. When it's on your fault or it's in your favor, and you look the other way around. They all UP's partisan declare, the previous government should be audited. That's good. We want to see them being audited. But before you can audit them, declare your asset. You coming into power. You gotta lay out what you have. Let the Liberian people know. So why is it now? You cannot lay out you can tell us what you have before you're taking power. We want the previous government, the outgoing government, to be audited. But equally so too, before you take power, we want you to declare your asset. So tomorrow when you're leaving, then we know what you have. So on the point of the speakership, the legislatures, the House of Representatives voted for their leaders. And Councilor Kofa won the elections. Unity Party cannot come back. I don't know what they have on their sleeves. Say maybe they're taking the after the inauguration, they will come back and then to remove the speaker. But one thing I want to say, we want peace in our country. We want peace in our country. If the party won the elections, let them think about governing the country peacefully. That's all I can say about it.
Thank you. Let's get the last caller here, Josiah Nyimpang. Go ahead, Joe.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead, you're live.
Yeah. Thank you guys. The caller I just called, make it clear. My name is Josiah. I'm calling from Dimon, Iowa. First of all, sorry. My name is Josiah Nyimpang. I think the last caller, said the right thing. The problem with Liberia, and we're still on inside. we don't love the country. We like individual and party, and that's the problem we're facing. Today is Boakai. People coming to defend Boakai when he says something. We declare asset. He is officials. He made other promises, and we not fulfill them. Now we are defending him. Who defended George Weah during his time. That's the way we run the country. Is that patriotism or what? What is that? That's messed up. We shouldn't be doing that. And we're not serious for Liberia. We want to blame other people. Thank you.
Thank you. Cassius Barkley, you'll be the last caller.
Hello?
Caller, your name and where you calling from?
I'm Victor Logan.
Go ahead, Victor.
Yes, I have some reservation with your panelists today, because it seems as if many of them made some assumptions that had no fact associated with those assumptions.
Okay.
And it seemed as if they did not do the homework before coming on the show. So I just advise that they try to do the homework and stop making accusations and assumptions without proof, because this is a public forum. Thank you.
Specifically, what are you referring to?
Specific.
You just said people took $5,000. That's an accusation. You don't have no proof.
Okay.
That's one.
All right.
That's an accusation. So you can say it is
alleged. Hold in there. The $5,000.
It is alleged.
The United Party spokesman, Mo Ali, wrote a press release and said, we give them the $5,000 is for inaugural. So that's not an allegation.
He gave it to the representatives.
There you go.
So what did you learn?
No. I'm just saying that you're talking as if it was a pay for play. So I'm just saying, as a journalist, we just be more objective.
Right. No, when the panelists said that it was a bribe, I said, according to Unity Party, this was intended for inauguration. We did that.
And another thing you talk about for Eugene Nagbe, you're saying he has tenure. Eugene does not have tenure at Maritime. When the law was rewritten and the Senate and the House passed it, the tenure was removed from Maritime. He does not have a tenure.
Thank you. According to Eugene, he said he has a tenure, and
the law never passed. The law never passed.
All right, thank you.
He said the tenure was removed. Also, just do more research and just don't listen to what people
Dennis,
say.
This guy is saying our panelists are using assumptions. What the facts that he got? We want to hear his own take on these issues instead of attacking our panelists. We give him own take. We want to hear the facts from him.
Yeah, you all made some blanket assumptions.
So tell us the facts.
That is so mad with Joseph Boakai and happy with George Weah.
All right. Thank you, Victor.
I think he's assuming more than.
Trogon, go ahead. You're live.
Yeah. Thank you, Dennis. I mean, you gotta learn how to pronounce.
Trogon Bayou. Trogon Bayou. Hey, nigga.
we don't have to have this conversation all the time.
I know. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what we begin to observe here is that the UP partisan or President-elect Joseph Boakai supporters, they are really struggling to defend him in recent times. This is a man that sold to the Liberian people have been a clean hand, honest, and, simple man, live a very modest life. He's very honest. He been in government for the 2 or for the 3 years, but he never engaged himself in corruption. But we're seeing signs that he hasn't even taken the oath of office, and they already started to struggle to defend him. I mean, it's very strange and surprising. When Obama was running for office, he used an English word I will not forget. He said, "Don't let them bamboozle you." I don't know if any one of you can remember that word. The Liberian people were bamboozled by the Unity Party. They told this president to us, this president-elect to us, as a man who was honest and clean, and he was going to change the country. He came to rescue the country. But the simplest thing, that being honest to the people, you donated $10 million Liberian dollars. Everybody is asking you, where did you get that money from? Simple as that. If that money is your money, all the years I worked for government, for the 42 years I've been working for government, I have this money in my saving account. Then we will ask, if you have all this money in your saving account, why did you tell the Liberian people that you were living on loan? And how are we hearing on radio and television people raising funds for your survival? Simple thing like that. He can even come out to address the Liberian people. So I see the Liberian people have been bamboozled. Completely bamboozled. So, I mean, we look forward to, for me, I'm wishing the best because I want him to be successful. We want good for our country, we want the best for our country. But from the beginning, the way we're seeing things going now, I'm sorry, man. We don't. If it continue like this, I think the Liberian people will really regret this. Thank you very much tonight.
Thank you. Let me also mention that the same thing we used to see under George Weah comment like this. You see, I'm so sorry for people like Denny for his hate against GMB. It was always you hate George Weah. Now the Unity Party people saying the same thing. I mean, when is this going to stop? That people look at things objectively and say what they have to say. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. With 1 minute for us to close, I would like for each of us to use 30 seconds each for our closing. Let's start with the only lady now on the panel, Alice.
Yeah, Dennis, the show was a great show. I just want to, hope that the president-elect will declare his asset before taking over. That will show that he says what he's going to do, and he's going to show example and represent the change that we were hoping for, that he told us he would have been. So we are still hoping that that's going to happen. And I'm also hoping that those that are working with him will do the same so that Liberia will be on the right trajectory. Tenure positions, I hope those that will be occupying these positions should really refrain from active politics so that they will only be doing their jobs based on integrity and good work, so that when new government come over, they don't have to worry about being removed or leaving office, because of reprisals. Also, we want to thank everybody, all the panelists, for their participation tonight. I'm happy that the show went great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Padmo.
Thank you so much, and it's always great to be here. I think the Unity Party withdrawing their petition to the court, I think it was smart. You don't want to get into a fight with the speaker right now. You have a budget to pass. You also have, I think within a week after Joseph Boakai becomes president, he should be up for his first State of the Nation address. And that only happens with the speaker. The speaker invites the president to address the full legislature. You just don't want to get into such a fight. When it comes to asset declaration, look, I remain very pessimistic. Even if it is done, it will be done sloppily. There'll be a lot of questions. This government will not answer any questions. Joseph Boakai has already presented himself as a person that when you question him, he does not reply to you. He moves on, he goes silent. Everybody else, you can very hell, but it is what it is, and that's what we'll see moving forward for the next 6 years. Thank you so much. Hopefully, I will join more Friday night debates. It's very spirited.
Good to be here, man. I like it. Alio.
Yes, Dennis, Ansony, I need to reiterate. If you guys ever go back to Sano and Grand Cru again, and you try to go to a little farm in reminiscence of the past, and you realize that it rained overnight and the water overflowed, please don't jump in the water because at that time the current is powerful. You go back. The next day you can still go back to that farm. In Madungo we say, only someone with wisdom will interpret a statement from a wise person. Now, for those of you who think that Joseph Boakai will declare his asset by Monday, I hope so. I don't see the possibility. Not so that they go sit down and write a note and send it through. This is a legal document. I don't think he has had the time, and I also don't think there's anything illegal with him doing it after the inauguration. The only thing I'll have a problem with if you wait for another 90 days before doing it after his inauguration, then I have a problem. But even with that asset declaration, for people who keep pushing this whole bank thing, he borrowed from the bank, you'll be surprised. You'll be disappointed. Joseph Boakai bank statement will not reflect that of a poor man. He's not a poor man. I can tell you that emphatically. He's never been a poor man. But look, it has been a great show. I really enjoy it. Both of you guys come here, look at the bulldog sitting there with Eddie Murphy mustache. But listen, hey, we'll all be excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. The unapologetic sedition.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Lady, let me make a quick correction here with Mr. Dennis Jah. Thank God to my researcher here. We talk about Liberia having a history of having foreign leaders. The firstborn Liberian president was Harry Johnson. He became president in 1884. The second was Chisma in Idana, Grand Bassa County. The 14th. Listen,
my problem was.
I'm coming to the 14th Amendment that made Black people citizens of this country was the 14th Amendment was July 9, 1868. So anybody outside of 1868 was citizens of the Republic of Liberia. You were born in this country. So you have all these folks.
No, hold on. Liberia independence was 1847, right?
Yes.
So Joseph Jenkins Roberts, 1847, was not a U.S. citizen.
Now, I understand that, but what I'm saying, we have a history. We have a history of electing foreigners, and I'm listing those that were foreign born. Because when they became citizens,
foreign
the people who made a country that foreigner.
Yeah.
The people who made a country that foreigner. There were no other people in the country beside them.
What?
No other people in that part of the
country. Okay. So anyhow, the problem here is Joseph Boakai, like I said earlier, Joseph Boakai is a fraud. Joseph Boakai was sold to us, and I told you this. That this was a snake oil. Another young man told you that Joseph Boakai was actually like the Grand Wizard. He was the chair of the cabal. He would sit around and have other people do his dirty work, fight for him, and then he says nothing. All the killings that went on during the election, he never denounced once. My boy here, my friend here, Mr. Aliu Kamara said, well, they cut a man ear. That's what happened when you don't listen to your uncle.
No, man, come on.
There you go. These are the folks that were here, we said, what happened in 4 years? In fact, Joseph Boakai is the only president in Liberia that never won his hometown, like our God. He said he was born in Foya. The people in Foya elected Thomas Fala, and he lost in Foya massively. The folks said he came from Sierra Leone, he was not part of that, and they proved that. So Joseph Boakai is another fraud on our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Father Washington.
Thank you so very much. I think it's been a healthy exchange here now. I want to thank our sister for the people who will be able to provide education for our people. I did say on the show that I don't think, based on my record, differently, and they kind of simply right. But hey, I'm stay open to see what reform he's going to bring to make this government to be a different government. But from what we already begin to see, I just hope that he's going to be engaging and not using money to be able to push people away and take them from where they're supposed to be, because it has to be a government. Everybody has to come together and provide it. We're going to be providing money to be able to get people from positions so that they can be able to make that decision on their own. Make decisions that is going to help the country, so that we can see that you don't have to be bribing, tending to bribe people or for impositions, able to get a smooth ride. If you said you can govern differently, because that's exactly what Edith Johnson Sirleaf was doing. So when we started saying, hey, we see a repeat of the Edith Johnson Sirleaf, others say, well, no, it's not going to be. So hey, but we're going to be sitting there and just watch whether something else is going to be different. But we pray that he succeeds, because when he succeeds, the country succeeds.
Thank you. Mr. J. Victor Nyonblee.
Yes, Dennis, Mr. John, it's Nagbe.
Oh.
It's Nagbe.
You sure you're pronouncing it right?
Over here, it is Nagbe. When you go on Brussels, you go on Brussels, you come in Nagbe, I'll answer you.
Jimmy Eastwood, you have an accent. It's not Nagbe, it's Nagbe.
There you go.
But
listen, my crew brothers and my Southeastern brothers. It has been a great show.
So that the only people you recognize here?
Yes, I don't recognize anybody else.
All right, go ahead.
All right, my fellow panelists, including Mr. Kamara. It's been a great show. I have to, say I am leaning towards giving this government, the space that they need to settle in. I think it's too early. I agree. I think it would be foolish to expect perfection. I think mistakes will be made, and I think that is acceptable. But I think they need to act quickly to minimize these mistakes that they are making. Some of them really are unforced. They didn't need to make them, but yet they continue to make them. And they seem to show no inclination to pull back and self-correct. This is what is bothering me. So when Yeke calls them out, they get upset with him because he's calling them out. But I think this president-elect should lead. I wish he would have declared his asset a long time ago. I'm hoping that he would do so before midday on Monday. He should do that. I think he will set the tune for the rest of the team. Because as we all know in Liberia, everyone follows the leader. Once he does that, I think he'll be on a right footing. The rest of it, the court battle and all of that, hopefully, they would have learned the lesson well going forward to avoid these kind of mistakes. But the best of luck to them. I still think he should go ahead and declare the asset. I think that would be a very good start for this incoming government. He's on record for saying that. If they come in and even do business as usual, I think they would have failed, because we expect a lot from them. Right. Everyone who knows Boakai, when you talk about him, they call him the old wise man, the sage. But I don't think he has demonstrated that yet. We are hoping he will have the opportunity to do so very soon.
Thank you. For those of us who were born in the interior, when you're traveling from one village to the other, you light the torch, you hold it. So they say it is the hand that holding that torch that can feel the pain if it start to burn out. Jimmy, let's go. I wanted to explain that, but this guy is disturbing me. Go ahead.
So let me just go quick. Just the fact that Joseph Boakai has made it to this point. It's like you among people, you see them doing all, but this guy, you say, has made it up to this point. There's a reason why he's made it, and we're going to be revealed. And I will tell you this one story that will finish it. You know, in certain traditions, not good to show pain or something. So the guy sat down to drink that soup, one of those, and what do they call it, Edo soup. And you know how Edo soup can burn. So soon the man took his spoon and drank his soup. Tears came to his eyes, and he started. So his friend asked him, "So, Mama, what happened? What happened with your eye?" He said, "No, I just thinking on one lady girl who lost her mom. So the story that made me sad." So the other man said, "Oh, I see." So soon he dipped it on a spoon to drink the soup. When he drank the soup, tears came to his eye too. The other man said, "Oh, Mama, what happened with your eye?" He said, "No, that story you were telling me, we were really sorry, man." So the thing he has come now, they did not happen to Ellie and all the predecessors. Come and see it now. That's the end of that story.
Thank you. And,
you muted, Jimmy.
Let me announce that the same father who has been talking about hate all day, say the entire platform is dominated by Southeastern people such as Dennis and Sieh. So this thing about Southeastern continues even in the Boakai presidency.
But Nagbe just said it.
Bada from Lofa. Bada from Lofa.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know what.
But and the UP people started. Who were the two people in the race for speaker? Were they not Southeasterners?
Yeah.
And the UP chairman and
the Secretary General, all of them are Southeastern people.
They are from Southeast. And in
fact, y'all still on his side. Much open. UP is much open compared to y'all.
Yeah, the entire leadership of United Party is Southeast. Even you look at the vice president, that man is from Southeast.
No, he's not.
He's from Nyonblee, but his father from Southeast.
Well, he's a Nyonblee.
Tradition. Hey, my man, you have your time, please. You
know, time to speak now, or you just play around? You speaking now?
Yeah, it's my time to speak.
All right, speak on the logic right now.
Dennis, to close, it's been a great debate. I appreciate our panelists and those who came to watch the show, and thanks for coming and sharing. We appreciate that. We would like for you to continue to share our show here. It's all about Liberia. And that is why I would say that those who support these politicians, those who are partisans, they are doing us a disservice. These people, they are humans. We are all humans. You know, we are always tempted to do the wrong thing. That's why we have laws. And that is why we talk about accountability. Alau Kamara is justifying and making excuses for Unity Party and Joseph Boakai when they made mistakes. Then they will not get it right. Mr. Gaiman here for the entire time of CDC 6 years, he justified and made excuses for President Weah 99% of the time. It was only 1% of the time he was able to criticize President Weah or disagree with him. Aliu is doing the same thing. That is not good for Liberia. This is not how you show love for your country.
That's not accusation.
Man. Hey, man.
Dennis,
you can go ahead, man. Go ahead, Dennis. What is this?
On that note, we want to say thank you for coming. Thank you. Always focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Make sure tomorrow we have at 3 we have FOL Marketplace. We'll be discussing business, economics, and finance. At 7 you have the Liberia History Channel. On Sunday is On Point. On Tuesday we have Abby Tyler's Healthy Living. That's the health show. And so on and so on. We have it all here. This is like, as someone said, going in a restaurant with a lot on the menu. So we have a lot to choose from right here on Focus on Liberia. Until then, it's called buffet. Song that says, "We are all Liberians." Have a good night and God bless you.
We are Liberians.